I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami, Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother.
Great Mother speaks to us in raw, realistic, and righteousness. Great Mother speaks to those of us who are most alienated from her unconditional love due to our birth mother experience. Here, welcome to Great Mother
Hi,
Speaks
everybody.
to
I know
us
it's been a while,
in
but
raw,
I have
realistic,
really
and
missed
righteousness.
you. I hope everybody's doing
Great
well
Mother speaks
and that this eclipse season is just blessing you, blessing you, blessing you. If you don't feel that it is, these readings are for you. Now, of course, with eclipses, they are relevant for 6 to 18 months during the eclipse period. And, I tell you that if you really want to keep up with what Great Mother is doing, you need to go to mamadramatrauma.info. That's where I've been spending most of my time with the support group and the deck that's coming out. And remember, Great Mother created this deck for us to heal. It's a process. Everybody has their own process. I know I've been living in loving detachment from my mother for 13 years. And this eclipse brought up so much for me still. It takes a while. And so the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck has been having classes. We've been having support groups online and in my community. And so it's been awesome. So I'll get videos up when I can. Great Mother inspired me to share these videos with you. But before I do, what came up for me is that even after 13 years of working with my divinity identity, of being a dearly loved child of the Great Mother Father God. Now say it with me, those of you who've been watching for a while. And those of you who haven't, this channel is Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck that is designed for people with mama drama trauma, a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where she is unwilling, unable, and unavailable to heal her own trauma, because it is a cycle, in order for the child to be healed, she must or he must learn to live in loving detachment. Okay? Accepting the mother that we have, letting go of the mother that we want so we can accept the one we have. That's when we know that we're healed from MDT. But sometimes even when we're healed from things, we can have little, things that come up. You may have had a hip surgery and you're fine, you can walk, your hip's not broken anymore, but every once in a while when it rains, it might get sore. We're triggered as well. And eclipses have a tendency to do that because they're all about balance. They occur to balance the Earth's biosphere, the animal kingdom, our waters, our internal waters were made up of at least 70 to 80% water. It's a balancing mechanism that Great Mother Father God have for us to sustain life on this planet. Things get out of balance, right? And so it happens internally as well. Everything starts from spirit before it's manifested in physical form. So the moon and the sun do their thing. And so, long story short, with what happened to me, starting with the new moon, what came up for me, and this is what the solar eclipses, it always happens in the new moon. Solar eclipses reveal to you inner wisdom that we have been denying, we've been ignoring, we've been minimizing, that we haven't prioritized for whatever reason. There's no judgment, no condemnation, no tea, no shade, but it's something important that we have not looked at. Okay? And so that's what solar eclipses do. They bring up what needs to be brought up for us to acknowledge for our highest good. And then they're followed with the lunar eclipse that is all about who we truly are. So we have the solar eclipse, it's about who we think we are, but then the solar eclipse really shows us what we really need to know that's going on with who we are. And then the lunar eclipse is telling us what needs to be released in order for us to fulfill our true identity, in order for us to fulfill who our soul is. So what came up for me during the solar eclipse was that I needed to pay attention to how I was communicating to people. I needed to really pay attention to my perception of what people were saying to me and how I was interpreting conversations, because I was just really getting short and really getting irritated a lot with people and feeling like I knew what they meant and this and whatever, and really getting triggered with a whole bunch of MDT, getting deep into that. And so I knew it was out of balance, but then when the solar eclipse came, it confirmed it. You need to pay attention to that. So in the interim since then, what this lunar eclipse has shown me, and I'll just give you an illustration. Me and my man went to the movies this past weekend. We went to go see that movie Crawl. It is crazy. Live in Florida. Had to see it. It's a good movie though. I didn't think it was going to be good, but it is. And has a lot of spiritual connotations. I wasn't expecting that. We were driving in the car and we were talking about a guest visiting, as we often have in Florida, and going back and forth about what we're going to do and everything when they came. And we were driving up to the theater or whatever like that, and he was like, okay, we're in the present now. We're in the present. We need to be in the present, so let's go. And I was like, what? You the one brought up the conversation about planning for the future. Now you're going to tell me, it's, you need to be in the present, like that, because I'm always telling him that. And so I thought he was bringing it back on me. And I snapped. And he looked at me like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Come on, let's go to the movie. We're in the present. And it came to me like that from Great Mother. That's what I meant, Tammy. That's what I meant. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that no more to people, because it's hurting you more. You see, he wasn't even paying no attention to what you're tripping on. But you were feeling so angry and so upset because you were interpreting it as judgment and condemnation. Like he's judging you for not being in the present, because that's what you was doing when you were telling him to be in the present. Girl, stop. You don't know what people are chilling. They're not coming at you like that. You coming at them like that. Stop. So, Great Mother is so merciful. It's so graceful. And I'm so grateful because that has taken such a load off my shoulders. Just not carrying that weight around of knowing what everybody's thinking. Anyway, Great Mother wanted me to share that with you because living and loving detachment is a process, and loving detachment is accepting what is. And what is what is. It is what we think it is in the moment, in the time. And we have to work with where we are. And so over 13 years, I've been in many places with accepting what is, accepting that my mother was an alcoholic, accepting that she didn't want to have a relationship with me, accepting that she couldn't accept me for who I am, accepting that, she judged me and condemned me for doing the voodoo, talking to Great Mother, accepting, it's a long journey of accepting what is. And this eclipse came up, and they normally come up during eclipses, by the way. Accept the fact that you are allowing yourself to be triggered by that judgment and condemnation from MDT, that blame. You're triggering yourself, girlfriend. Stop it. You've been conditioned to do that, but you don't have to keep on doing that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. It's keeping you from enjoying your life. And I needed to bring that to your attention so that you can get in alignment with who you are. You are a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. Okay? So this reading for each of you, we're going to look at what the solar eclipse brought up for you, your moon sign. And check your moon sign calculator below. I know some of you watch based on your Western moon sign, but it is a 24-degree different with the Vedic in 24 degrees precession. So, for example, I am Gemini moon in the Western and Taurus moon in the Vedic because of the 24-degree difference. And it does make a difference if you really do intuit very strongly. The Jyotish is going to, in many cases, be more appropriate for you, but not necessarily, because there are obviously other aspects to your chart. So, with no further ado, I want you to realize that this reading will show you what came up for you and who you truly are in relationship to Great Mother's support of you at this time moving forward. The entire cosmos is supporting us uniquely and individually in ways that we cannot imagine. But through Great Mother Speaks, we'll have an idea. Come over to Mama Drama Trauma and join us. There's some very affordable classes. The new deck is going to be coming out, so you can pre-order, get into the tutorial so that you can do your own readings to gauge your own process. Thanks for watching. Hi, Pisces moon sign people. This lunar eclipse is 11th house, and no, this is 10th house energy for you. 10th house energy for you, Pisces moon sign. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Hope all is going well with you. Since the solar eclipse July 2nd was bringing up a sense of awareness about who you are telling yourself you are, or who up to that time you were telling yourself you are. What are you saying to yourself, in other words, about yourself is what came up. And what you were telling yourself is that you were at a point of inner wisdom. You were at a point where you trust what you know, and the direction that you're going in your life. That came up for you very strongly. I mean, very in your heart. And for some of you, that was a very jolting experience because you had been in denial about what you truly know about Mama Drama Trauma, truly accepting the abandonment and abuse, truly accepting the MDT soul contract, for those of you who have been watching for a while, that the purpose of it is for us to evolve in self-love and spiritual independence. There has been an understanding of yourself that has made you appreciate your growth, your inner acumen for being able to accept the truth without allowing yourself to be carried away in delusion, which has been a pattern for a while because Neptune in the Western is in Pisces, and some of you have Pisces in both. And for others of you who may actually be working with this energy in your 12th house, is the same kind of effect, because it does have to do with that communion with spirit and it being a very fine line between the two worlds. You kind of been teetering on that. For others of you, this awareness of your inner wisdom has come as a great sense of empowerment. And so in the interim, since that time, what this lunar eclipse is doing in terms of telling you who you indeed really are on a soul level is, for some of you and the first group that may be a little apprehensive about your inner truth of accepting your soul contract and like, wow, I don't know if I'm ready for this, and you still might be struggling going between the worlds. It is showing you that who you truly are is more than this situation. So those of you who are directly involved with your mother in a toxic relationship at this time, it feels overwhelming that you cannot find your way out. Then there are those of you who are beginning to trust your inner wisdom, that it's time for you to establish healthy boundaries, or that the boundaries that you have established you need to maintain by reinforcing them. There's a sense that who you are is no longer the Piscean that needs to build a wall for defense. Who you are is strong enough to realize that you're ungrounded, that you're unsupported in whatever relationship or situation that this eclipse is focusing in on. Remember, our maternal relationship is the basis of all our relationships. And so we can talk about our direct relationship with our mother, or any relationship, co-worker, lover, children. A relationship with our mother is how we do relationships. And so we try to modify that behavior, whether consciously or unconsciously, when we deal with others. And so to support you in doing this in a way that serves your highest good. This lunar eclipse is really bringing the obvious abandonment, alienation, abuse from your mother or your lover or your coworker or your neighbor or your child to the fore. It's really making you pay attention to that. And specifically, if you work with these people in your life's purpose, if you are an artist, if you are a mother, if you are someone that people call on in the community to help them, you are the caregiver. Someone or a situation that supports you in that, an actual job that you have. Our life purpose isn't always a formal job, but it can just be who we are and how we exude what we do in every situation. For example, your job might not be a nurse or a doctor or a massage therapist, but you're an accountant that is very caring and very considerate and very fair in how you do your accounting work, because you are a caring person in everything you do. That's your life purpose, to care, as an example. Now, this is energy that is showing you that you are strong enough to withstand this sense of uprooting. This eclipse is showing you that. And some of you, it doesn't feel like support. It feels like just uprooting. But Great Mother is here to tell you that the reason it feels that way is because you can withstand it. It is true that you do have the wisdom to navigate yourself through this, as the fishes do. You have that ability to do that emotionally. And what's in your shadow position is that this is a purification process. And so although it may be very disruptive for some of you, realize that it is necessary in order for you to leave that sense of disempowerment behind. This experience is empowering you. And for those of you who already feel empowered, the purification has to do with you not realizing that you have just gone through a purification process. And the light of this full moon is shining on that and is supporting you in moving forward with what your desire is, which is to have deeper downloads. The double yin symbol, as we know, the doctor card, is all about those intuitive downloads from Great Mother that come that third quarter moon period, when we have these huge emotional releases, which is going to come after this full moon in about 2 weeks. And that's what you want. It's coming for you. Those of you who are already there in that space of recognizing that you've gone through this purification, you will release the final aspects of that with regard to situations that aren't supporting your life purpose in the way that they need to. And those situations that are based on relationships that you've maintained past their usefulness, relationships that don't support you in your purpose as a caregiver, in your purpose as a mother, in your purpose as a teacher, in your purpose as just being an encourager of others. If it doesn't support you in those areas, it's not about cutting it off. It's not about that wall per se. It's not about that wall, excuse me. It's not about that wall per se. It's about realizing that you no longer need to have a wall. That the boundaries that you already know from the solar eclipse that came up and told you that you have the inner wisdom, is just for you to trust that inner wisdom that you have and to honor that and define your boundaries based on that. So if the awareness came up that, well, I'm not being supported in this job in my caregiving delivery of the accounting. I am concerned about the business, and I'm also concerned about the employees. And I know from experience that if you're fair about it, all of your tallies at the end of the year, at the end of the quarter, they work out. And that is my intention, is to be caring in that regard. And it's not being received that way. You're always getting pushback, and you're always being questioned, and you're always being maybe manipulated into manipulating numbers or things of that nature, which are a part of us living in this material world, having an experience of evolution. The celestial bodies are supporting you to release that, because you're wanting to align more with what Great Mother is downloading to you. And things that don't support you in doing that, the energies are supporting you to release. And what's also supporting you is the law of destiny and free will. This is your destiny. Your destiny is to, after this deep internal purification, to use this greater empowerment to fulfill your destiny as that caregiving accountant. You love doing that. And so it is showing you that the energies are going to support you in transitioning into the exact time and space, location, job, what we call it, whatever it is, business, individual that needs you, that needs your kind of wisdom as it relates to what your soul purpose is. And again, that caring can show up in any occupation. That's occupation of an accountant. We usually think of that again as a massage therapist or those other types of caregiving. You're being supported completely. Now, the support from the law of destiny and free will is another third quarter moon support. So you're being supported in the release of those things here as it relates to, again, that destiny and that free will of who you think you are. You have free will in determining who you think you are. And if now you're aligning with thinking of yourself as a divine child of the Great Mother, Father, God, with this inner wisdom and acceptance of this type of neglect or lack of appreciation for who and what you give, line it up. You realize, okay, I'm a divine child, and so this doesn't line up with me, dejection and rejection. If I'm a divine child, that means I'm dearly loved. So this situation is showing me that it's not in vibration, frequency with me being dearly loved. So I'm opening myself to transitioning into an experience that is in alignment with who I am. So your present state of ego soul alignment, Pisces moon sign people, is you're going through a rebirth. This horse Osiris card is all about that Father Osiris dying to himself to become a greater version of himself through his son and his sister wife. So that sister wife analogy with Isis being the self-mothering card is how we care for ourselves and that energy that we use to care for others. It's either a sister kind of an energy if it's platonic, and it's a wife energy if it is a deeper soulful intimacy. You're going through a very deep soulful process of rebirth and regeneration at this time in terms of who you think you are and who you truly are. The waning gibbous moon card, the waxing gibbous moon card, I've reversed here, is about that revision of who you think you are in order to come to an understanding this full moon, this lunar eclipse about who you truly are, this throat chakra energy. That's waxing gibbous. It's revising time. It's editing. It's kind of it's not quite a retrograde energy because it doesn't slow down energy. What it does is it reallocates energy. So the energy that you have had toward this feeling of being an orphan in the accounting office at the job is being transformed through all of this release of things that don't allow you to focus on your download or on your destiny, so that it can be utilized to be reborn from throat chakra energy, your higher will there. There's a higher will that you have with regard to honoring that inner wisdom that came up during the solar eclipse. Now, why your soul wants to do this work is because it knows that it's time for you to surrender in order for you to move forward in utilizing your inner wisdom in your life, utilizing the truth, even though it could be painful. And the blessing of Mama Drama Trauma has to do with us coming through that pain, grieving that pain. That's why we have third quarter moon cards here that are the law cards. The law is we must let go of things before we can move forward. That's the Great Mother Moon phase of let go. We have to release before we can move forward to the new moon. So in 2 weeks, we'll have the new moon. In a week, it'll be the third quarter moon of release. And so a week from now, there'll be another release. And then the new moon on the 31st will be that opportunity to return to that solar eclipse energy of new moon, which came up for you in the new moon card of Sophia. So this heart chakra energy that I'm seeing here with purification is also the crossroads of the ego and the soul that we're seeing with Yemiya in surrender, with why your soul wants you to do this work. It wants you to surrender to the higher will of your destiny, which is your soul. But you have to do it through your free will, Pisces moon sign people. And many of you are already on the path. Those of you who are feeling a little still disoriented and have been receiving the supportive energies as condemning or judgmental, Great Mother's here to let you know that it's to nudge you on so that you can go ahead and crawl if you have to that next phase. Get inside the door before this particular celestial energy closes. And it'll close and a new one will open in 2 weeks, but it'll be a different energy, and the eclipse for that particular sub-season is ending December 26th. So if you don't do it now, that's fine. There'll be another phase of different energies to support your release of that insecurity by December 26th. Eclipse season overall is Gemini North Node, Sagittarius South Node in the Vedic astrology. And so we have a South Node eclipse, which is all about release. And so you have all this release energy coming to support you to let go of those feelings of insecurity. So take advantage of it. If you really, really trust your inner wisdom, you can't fake the funk. That's why Great Mother wants me to let you know that this new moon, there are going to be more energies coming to start a new season, sub-season. It's a sub-season until the entire Gemini Sagittarius axis is over, which will be, I think April 20. No, is it going to be April 2020? I think it's going to be April 2020 when it's over. They last 18 months, these axes, and then it is switched to Taurus, Scorpio. Okay. But right now, we have sub-eclipse seasons that go on every time we have a solar, and then it's followed up with a lunar eclipse. And so this is the season that was built up since, the spring, when we had, back in January and then in February, the solar and lunar, and we'll have another one in December. This is what Great Mother's saying to you now. The outcome will be Rhiannon. Now, the self-doubt card for working with the energies of the orphan has to do with a sense of a lot of us needing another eclipse season to come to a point of trusting our inner wisdom. And Great Mother is giving us the grace and mercy to do that, because this purification process is also a waxing gibbous moon card. And so there's a huge release that's coming that is going to lighten you up as you enter into this next sub-season. Lighten up this new moon root chakra energy of abandonment and abuse. You know that you can deal with it, which is what's propelling you toward your healing process. You know that you can do it, but you still are processing. We all have our process. It takes time. And that's why Great Mother gave us the Oracle deck, so we can work with it over time. And we can get some clarity about what's going on with us each step of the way, so that we stay in alignment. And the alignment that is likely for many of you is to still have a sense of self-doubt as this eclipse is occurring. But remember, the effects last for 6 to 18 months. So some of you may not be relating to this right now. And you may not relate to it at all, because the alternate meaning of self-doubt, first quarter moon, second chakra card, is that you're making a decision to confront that self-doubt with the practice of self-inquiry. So those of you who truly are ready to assert your inner wisdom are already beginning a practice, whether you started it consciously or you've been doing it unconsciously, of really questioning those rejecting, abandoning attitudes towards you. Like, where did that come from? You're starting to kind of assert yourself like, they're not talking to me, or their drama, that ain't my stuff, that's their stuff. because you're asking yourself, is it really true that I'm not a good accountant? Is it really true that I'm not adding this stuff up right? No, it's true that they're trying to, and it's not about judgment or condemnation. It's about telling ourselves the truth. That's all. And the more truth we tell ourselves, the more truth about ourselves we can embrace, which is that we are truly divine beings. And self-doubt is about the process and the journey to getting to that sense of being a dearly loved child of the great Mother Father God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone, which is exactly what you are. And what these energies are supporting you to come to greater clarification about, and what your own conscious work is supporting you in achieving. Thanks so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter.